And it's a good morning to you on this early morning here in Ohio. It is Thursday morning in the Ohio, and I'm happy to be here with you. Am I? I don't know. I don't do the whole happy thing. I guess I'm kind of pleased to be with you, or maybe not. Maybe I kind of wish I would have slept in for about 5 more hours, which is not feasible. But I'm your good buddy Spider. You know that. And you're sipping coffee with Spider on the morning news. And that's what we're doing. So let's kick it into high gear and get into the morning news. ABC News with a story that's important to those in uncanny land. Most UFO reports likely to be, quote, ordinary, unquote, government says, as investigation continues. You remember not long ago, they had these various hearings on UFOs and things, which didn't tell us a whole lot. They had a document like last year, maybe it was earlier this year, honestly. Um, I think it was last year where they talked about UFO stuff, but it was heavily redacted and things, so we haven't really heard a whole lot about it. But according to the article, the Pentagon and the U.S. Intelligence Committee. Ooh, I'm stumbling on things today already. Let me try that again. Thank you for waiting. The Pentagon and the U.S. intelligence community believes that as better data becomes available, the unidentified and purported anomalous nature of most of the hundreds of UFO reports they have been investigating will likely be explained by ordinary phenomena, quote unquote, according to a government review of the incidents that was released on Wednesday. The number of accounts of unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs, has grown to 801, with an increase of 291 additional reports from August 31st, 2022 to April 30th of this year, according to the new government review. Probably because more people are reporting it since they think that maybe it's a serious effort to actually uncover this stuff. And I don't find that too surprising. It's not often that I'm surprised by news on this show. You guys know that. You folks know that. I'm difficult to catch off guard on this show here. Um, of course, even some of them that aren't really ordinary, quote unquote, are going to be classified as ordinary, probably. Either because they just don't know what they're dealing with and they don't want to get into it, or because they do know and they don't want to tell us. And I'm not going to get all conspiracy theory and be all like, oh, the government's hiding aliens from Roswell. Oh, no. But they do know more about this stuff than they're telling us. That's pretty obvious, I think. And maybe it's like simple stuff. Maybe it's just like, oh, yeah, we know, and we're not telling you because we just don't want to make it a panic, but it's really not that bad. It's not an invasion or anything like that. Okay, cool. Or maybe it is something big. Who knows? But that's the latest on it, and we'll just have to keep following that and see how it goes. IGN with some funny gaming news. Super Mario Bros. Wonder mod turns talking flowers foul-mouthed. Nintendo quickly takes action. Of course they would. Of course they would. That's if somebody's gonna make a mod that's gonna add profanity or nudity or pornography or anything, then they will. It's kind of like the whole Rule 34 thing, which I'm not going to get into for people who don't know what that is. I kind of caution you not to look it up, Rule 34. But if you're adventurous, I guess go ahead. But people will basically make a mod for almost anything, and trash talking flowers doesn't really surprise me either. Nor does Nintendo's response, because they want their environments to be a good family environment. Even if they have games where there's blood and guts and violence or whatever, they still try to lean on that family entertainment image. And so that doesn't surprise me too much either. If you're making naughty mods for Super Mario Brothers Wonder, be prepared for the Nintendo banhammer. In other gaming news from IGN, Overwatch 2's next collaboration is with K-pop group Les Seraphim. And, I'm not going to say anything bad about it. It looks like it's a group of girls. It's like a girl band, 5 girls. I'm not going to say anything bad about them because they're not the problem here. The problem here is the Fortnite, PUBG, Overwatch, Battle Royale, multiplayer, first-person shooter, whatever trend that is to take everything you possibly can from pop culture and shove it into the game somehow to get people to keep playing. Fortnite is so obnoxious about this. It's terrible. I don't even care how good of a game it is, if it is. I haven't played Fortnite, but I will continuously trash it on a regular basis because I don't think I need to play it at this point. It makes fun of itself. It is. Look at it. Honestly, come on now. It doesn't. And there are other games that don't take themselves too seriously, and they're good games. But this is a game where selling out is kind of the plot by this point, and it replaces all other semblance of any sort of storyline involved. So I'm not surprised that Overwatch 2 is following in those footsteps, and I hope it crashes and burns. But it won't. It'll be successful, like they always are. And again, that's not to say that I hope this girl group crashes and burns. I'm sure they're very talented at whatever they do. It's probably not their fault that they're involved in this. It's probably a management thing. Like, oh yeah, we got a deal with Overwatch. Hey, it's cool. Whatever. I think it's trash. But anyway. WWG with some more game news. It seems like just game news, but that's okay. We'll take that. Dead by Daylight gets new update for Halloween event 2023. Patch notes revealed. So if you're a player of Dead by Daylight, got a sneeze coming on. Pardon me. Then that might be good news for you. Consequence of Sound. I assume this is a former member of the band, but from KK Downing, he says, Rob Halford got one more shot at glory with Judas Priest, but not me. Looks like he is a guitar player. I didn't know who the original lineup for Judas Priest was, so don't yell at me if I'm, if you're like, who didn't you know? Here we go. I got another sneeze coming on. Oh, gosh. Anyway, the former Priest guitarist says any chances of a reunion are now done. He was in the band from 1969 to 2011, and alongside Glenn Tipton, according to Consequence of Sound, made up one of metal's all-time greatest guitar tandems. After Downing's exit, Priest carried on with guitarist Richie Faulkner, but when it was announced in 2018 that Tipton was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and would no longer tour, it seemingly opened the door for Downing to return, but ultimately the vacated slot went to Andy Sneap, the co-producer of Priest's 2018 album Firepower. So, if you were looking forward to an original reunion for Judas Priest, it looks like that's not going to happen. So, sad news for you, I suppose. Not making fun of you, I'm just saying. The Verge. I don't know what difference this is going to make, but WhatsApp will soon let you stay logged in to 2 accounts at once. That sounds like an opportunity for somebody to troll real hard. That sounds like some trolling potential, and it's a good reason for me not to go onto WhatsApp. I've never used WhatsApp, so I don't know if it's any good, and I don't care. And that looks like more reason to stay away from WhatsApp, to be honest. Because somebody could basically hold entire conversations with themselves across 2 accounts and pretend that it's 2 actual people and get people drawn into controversy. So no thanks. Won't do that. Won't do that. And it's looking like there's not a lot of news on my aggregator coming up. I'm going to keep reloading it because it's slow to update, but man, it's not really catching everything. Washington Post says Jim Jordan denounces threats against Republicans who oppose his speaker bid. Apparently, 2 rounds of voting for speaker. After Scalise failed, Jordan was up next, and he's failed both times. 2 rounds of voting. And apparently people are threatening the various people who voted against him, or who didn't vote for him, rather. And that's kind of a thing that happens in politics, really unfortunate. Everybody gets, like, people instantly turn to violence. And it's good of him to say, hey, no, don't do that. But who knows? Maybe it's just a talking point. So the House of Representatives in the United States is still in chaos, as the Republicans have a majority by a smidge, but they can't do anything with it at all without a speaker. So, still developing. PBS NewsHour. This is I keep seeing this story crop up, and I guess now I'll finally report on it. Judge warns Trump to keep quiet as witness testifies against him in civil fraud trial. Good luck. The one big thing that Donald Trump has is his way of speaking and the way he has with words, I suppose. So that's the one thing they're going to try to stop him from doing. They're going to try to keep him from running his mouth, and I don't think it's going to work. You can pile on whatever contempt charges you want. He's going to keep on talking. Anybody who knows Trump knows that's how it's going to go. But we'll see. Associated Press, the U.S. sanctions 10 Hamas members and its financial network over the surprise Israel attack. That's all well and good, but the thing about it is, we're supposed to consider these people terrorists, right? We're supposed to consider these people criminals, international criminals. If we know who they are in order to sanction them, can we not do more and remove them from the field of play? I'm not saying go out and murder people. I'm just saying, can we arrest them? Can we do something? If we know who they are, why can't we just go stop them? What good is sanctions are only going to do so much? If we know who they are, why can't we take more direct action to stop them? It's a game they play, is what it is. It's a game they play. Stay tuned for that. This is some weird news. Sorry about that. The sneezing has kind of got some stuff up in my esophagus there. Portland's classic rock 92.3 KGON. I don't know how reliable they are, but here's an interesting story. Sharon Osbourne confirms she and Ozzy have suicide pact. Now, that's weird. Does that mean, like, when they get old, they're going to do one of those, like, Kevorkian things and then have themselves, like, in a medical facility, go through the process, and then go to sleep and not wake up? Is that what they're going to do? Or are they going to... I don't know. I don't want to read the details, actually, which is why I'm not going to look up particularly, because it's weird stuff. People do weird things for each other. I don't think that's like dedication or like showing your love. I think that's just weird. That's what I think. I don't find that to be romantic in a Romeo and Juliet kind of way. I think that to be kind of sociopathic, to be fair. But that's my personal opinion. Moving on. This is something that's kind of strange. I'm gonna have to pull this up because this sounds pretty provocative. ABC News with Texas installing concertina wire, which is a form of barbed wire, along New Mexico border. Not even like the southern Mexico border, but with one of their neighboring states. Um, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has ordered the state's National Guard to install a barrier in some parts along the Texas-New Mexico state line. Officials say Guard members have been placing concertina wire in an area close to Sunland Park, New Mexico, which shares a border with El Paso, Texas. Abbott says the barrier is meant to deter migrants who cross from Mexico into New Mexico before heading to El Paso. This is a quote from the governor on X, formerly Twitter. Texas installs fencing along New Mexico border. Our barriers around El Paso forced the migrants crossing illegally to enter into New Mexico. They then entered into El Paso from there. To end that, we are building a barrier on the New Mexico border. That's crazy. Like nobody has a good way to deal with the migrant problem. It is a problem. You can't just open it up and just say welcome on in, because there's only so much space available for people. You know, you can't just let them in. When people say, "Oh, your immigrants built America," you're anti-immigration. When I say things like that, I'm not. When people came here initially, yeah, way back in like pilgrim days and things like that, they just settled wherever, moved into the West and settled wherever because there wasn't rules and things in place. Now we have states, we have places, we have boundaries, we have local governments, and there's a proper way to come in. You come in, you announce yourself, you say, "Hey, I want to join the United States." You take the test, you do stuff, and then you get your social security card. You become a taxpayer, you contribute, right? And there's so many people just forcing their way in, and it's upsetting the balance of everything. It's straining resources wherever. Like New York is underwater as far as the migrants are concerned, and they were open to it. They were like, "Hey, yeah, come on in. New York is a safe haven for migrants." But now they're like, "No, don't come here." They literally, the mayor of New York City, literally went to 4 South American countries and said, "Hey, stop coming here. We don't have space for you. It's not going to work. Please don't come." You know, after they said, "Yeah, we're migrant friendly, we're immigrant friendly, whatever." So that tells you that it is a serious issue. Do these people deserve to be here? Sure, if we can find a way to get them in properly. I'm not about like just saying no, nobody's allowed here at all, because when people say, "Oh yeah, it's a nation of immigrants, we're supposed to let them in," of course it's a nation of immigrants, but it's not a nation of people just forcing their way in. Not anymore. Those days are over. We're supposed to be civilized. Supposed to be. Okay? We're supposed to be civilized. So let's do this in a civilized way. Oh, and this is crazy now, building barriers between states because one state is allowing them in and one state isn't. This is just insanity. Like, it's crazy. Barbed wire between Texas and New Mexico, two of the states here, two members of the United States with barriers between each other. Oh, it's insanity. I don't know what else to say about that. Another one from IGN. Again, it's more gaming news. There's a ton of gaming news today, which I'm all for. Phil Spencer, which is the Xbox guy with Microsoft. Phil Spencer, quote, all in, unquote, on Xbox Studios revisiting older owned IP, which is in intellectual properties. And that's cool. I'd like for them to go back and take a look at some of their older owned game series and franchises they haven't done anything with in a while. I'd love to get revisions on some of those things. I think it'd be awesome. I was just trying to look at whether my original Xbox could hook up to my TV and everything now, and the cords are badly corroded. They're up in the attic. But I would like to be able to play a lot of those old original games, or at least updated versions, on my newest console, and this is a good step in the right direction. I like it. I do like it. CBS News with some complicated news, I think. 3 endangered sawfish born at SeaWorld, the first successful captive birth of the species in the United States. And people have a lot of problems with SeaWorld, especially with the whales and then the orcas and things, and I get it. It's legitimate. I'm not going to go on a thing and be like, you're just full of it. But if they're going to make an effort to be, helping breed species that are going extinct and actually try to spread them out a little bit, I think that's a good thing. If they're making this effort, I applaud them for that. I think that's good. I think that's a good turnaround. Instead of being a theme park, maybe SeaWorld can become an aquarium kind of place where you go and you don't just go ride rides, you don't see seal shows, you don't do that kind of stuff. You see and appreciate the animals, and they take care of the animals. I would like to see that. I would like to see that. Associated Press, you thought maybe they were done, but they aren't. Tropical storm Tammy moving west across tropical Atlantic as group of islands on alert. The tropical storms have not yet finished. Hurricane season is not quite over. Even though it's cold up here in Ohio, it is still warm down south, and there's a lot of different air currents going on. So if you are in the path of any of these tropical storms, please be careful, be safe. Good luck. What are we doing here? Not much else going on. NBC News with a little more clarification on this. X, formerly Twitter, tests charging new users $1 to tweet and retweet. Remember I said yesterday that they were going to do $1 for new subscribers, like a subscription fee, and this looks like it is. I wonder if that means it's $1 per tweet, per retweet, if you're not like paying for the service already. That would be funny. That would be hilarious to me because Twitter sucks. And I'd love to see it just burn to a crisp. And everybody who uses it now and thinks it's a legitimate source of news and information, you can all just not do that anymore. I was going to say something extremely rude, but that was extremely rude, so I pulled back because I don't want to be that person. But Twitter is garbage. You need to understand. X, as it is now, it's only going to get worse. It's trash. It's always been trash. It was an open forum for people to shout opinions with no consequences. And if they had enough of a following, then those people would shout with no consequences, and differing opinions would be silenced by the overwhelming assault of ignorance. And that is Twitter. An overwhelming assault of ignorance. Don't try to tell me it's not. Don't try to tell me there's good things. Oh, I go on there and that's where I get most of my news. Well, that's the problem. You're getting biased news because every single thing up there is an opinion from a person. None of it is an actual factual set of data. It's all opinions. Every single thing on X/Twitter/X/ whatever is an opinion. Step back, delete the app, close your account, move on, do something else. Don't try to tell me it's legit. It's not. Screw Twitter. Screw Twitter, whatever. Reuters, Ford reshuffles top management as UAW strike drags on. You're going to see more of this. They're going to try to get around these things and try to work things through. I have to wonder if they're hiring people past the picket lines to work the assembly line. Most of that stuff's done by robots these days, I know, machines, but there's a little bit that's done by the human element. And I would be interested in hearing how many, quote, scabs there are working in these places now. Very interested. Anyway. Capital Weather Gang. I always get thrown off by that. Like it feels like it shouldn't be a legitimate website, but they always show up my aggregator. Canada's astonishing and record fire season finally slows down. Well, that's good. That's good. We had those days where it was smoky here in Ohio, in like central Ohio. There was smoke and haze from all the way up north. And man, that's crazy. I know it's just a little bit north and then across the lake, and then there's Canada, so it's not that crazy. But it's crazy to me because I've never seen anything like that. And I've lived in Ohio for a very long time. Most of my life. So it's a good thing that it's calming down. And yeah. So we'll see where things go from there. Hopefully the air will be clearer through the winter. And I think that's pretty much it. Except for this. Except for this. One more. Reuters. Pfizer to price the C19 treatment Paxlovid at $1,390 per course. Are you kidding? Really? That's straight up like just preying on the people who are all in on the theory that it's the worst virus in the whole world and they're scared to death to leave their house and they won't leave without a mask triple layered over their face, and they'll sanitize everything, wear gloves everywhere they go and all that good stuff. And most of us, we don't need this. Most of us, we catch it, we hang out at home, we're fine, we take a few days off, we rest up, we're good now. But those few who need to have this, $1,400 per course of Paxlovid. Are you seeing the scam yet? Are you seeing it? Because this is it right here. The shots were supposed to prevent you from having to take this, remember? The shots were supposed to be the saving grace, and they're not working. And so now you have this medicine that they don't want you to take because they want you to take more shots, even if they don't work. But what if you need this? $1,400. Eat some chicken soup, have some tea, rest up for a few days at home, and don't worry about it. Take some ibuprofen. You'll be fine. And you'll save $1,400. Ah, goodness. Goodness. All right. That's all I got. That's all I have for you tonight, today, this morning, yesterday, tomorrow, whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. The time just runs together in an endless haze here on Thursday. Goodness. Don't mind me. I'm just complaining. Complaining. So, I'm gonna go back to bed because I'm clearly pretty tired. Haven't slept enough. So I'm gonna get a couple more hours of sleep before I have to start my day with the kid and the breakfast and all the other things. And I'm gonna let you off the hook again for breakfast. I've been letting you off the hook for breakfast a lot lately, so you better appreciate it. You know, I expect, I expect something spectacular for tomorrow's breakfast. And I've got an idea for you. So you better be prepared because tomorrow I'm going to tell you about it. But for now, I'm going back to bed. Peace to you and anybody.